Hey guys, it's Sarah for Chromayati. Welcome to my channel. Today we're getting a little loose and wild. I'm in full experimental mode at the moment as I try to explore new materials and see how they react. And currently I've been using a lot of resin to finish a lot of my home good items. And that got me just curious about resin in general and how you color it, how you use it. Maybe it might be better to use for certain things I'm doing than paint. So I got a bunch of different things that we're gonna try. Supposedly you can add all kinds of different things to resin and they all work, but they also may react in different ways. So we have some acrylic paint, we got some house paint, nail polish, eyeshadow, and mica powder. And we're just gonna see what happens. I have never done this before. Usually I experiment way off camera many times prior to filming anything, but you know what? Today I'm in kind of a crazy mood and I just want to see what happens, and if it's really magical, I want it to be recorded. And if it's a complete failure, well, you know, we'll probably learn something from it and you guys won't waste your art supplies doing it. I'll just waste mine. So you know what? Let's have fun today. Okay, so when using resin, I'm gonna need 50% resin, 50% hardener to start with. I'm just gonna mix a big batch. And then I'm gonna pour that into each of my little mix-ins in equal amounts. And I'm not letting a single drop go to waste because it is expensive. Okay, now we're just going to give this a really good mix for definitely at least a minute or two. Please make sure when you're doing these projects at home that you're wearing protective gloves and a mask. Very important. Your health and safety are #1 priority. All right, so I got my 5 little experiments going here. According to online, you need like a 1/6 to a 1/10 color mixer per ratio of resin. So I'm going to try to mix all my colors in my cups first the way I want them and then add my resin. Oh god, what was that? There are chunks in this? Oh, I think it's a little bead that you used to mix up the nail polish. So I got all my little mix-ins in their cups. And I'm just gonna put the right amount of resin in here for each one. All right, so we got acrylic, house paint, nail polish, eyeshadow, and mica powder. All right, since this is purely just a test, I really don't want to waste any of my larger canvases on this, so I got this teeny little 4x4. If this goes well and it seems like it's working out, I'll switch to a bigger canvas, but let me just see what happens with this little baby first. All right, so here's some nail polish. This one's the eyeshadow. This one's my mica powder. Here's my house paint. This is my acrylic. So I put the smaller nozzle on my heat gun, and that's gonna, I think, help me control this, heat it up, move it around a little bit. Okay, well, so far, I mean, everything looks like it's right. I'm kind of curious if I did like a dirty pour where I mixed all the colors together, what would happen. Before I do that, I want to get, these canvases are like super thick even though they're little. I want to get something going on the sides. I'm just going to reuse what fell down here. Alright, so we at least now got something on our edges. Maybe stuff will flow a little better. So an empty cup. I'm just gonna do a little of each just to see what happens. Ooh, look at those cells. Get a lot of movement. I didn't expect that from resin. Alright, so I will say that like resin seems to have a little bit more of a mind of its own than acrylic paint. It is really moving and shifting and doing whatever it wants to do. But it is really pretty. Just gonna a little bit more red and purple over here. I will say this house paint is like really stringy. So is the acrylic paint. It's like leaving a lot of residue when I pull it away. Well, that's kind of beautiful. Yeah, definitely the acrylic paint seemed to be giving me the most cells. And the mica and the nail polish seem to be holding themselves together the most. Another thing I'm curious about this, since it's resin, it's gonna harden and like be done. Like it is what it is. And I'm definitely used to pour paint where like you can kind of touch it up and tweak it after the fact. So it's definitely something to consider that like after you're done making this, it is what it is. Like I know you could probably add on some other layers of resin. I know you can, after it hardens a little bit, you can heat it back up and do some more stuff on top, but just something to consider. It's a lot more effort to mix more resin and tweak that later. I'm not a big fan of how that started spreading out. Just gonna put a little bit more. All right, well, you know, not a complete disaster. Very interesting results. I don't know. I don't know what to think about this. I am finding it's a little bit harder to control the results than acrylic paint, which is, I'm sure as you all know, very unpredictable in itself. Maybe it's just going to take a little bit more time of practice and trying some different techniques to figure this out, but at least it seems like everything was mixed okay. None of the colors seem to be so transparent that I can't see them. I may need to look into acrylic ratios a little bit more because those consistencies seemed a little bit more stringy. The nail polish worked great, but I did use a lot of it, which could get expensive if you're buying new nail polish solely for the purpose of doing this with it. If you're reusing old nail polish, well, I guess that's giving you a reason to use up your old nail polish. I know I have a ton of it around my house that just sits around forever. The eyeshadow also did fine, although it was the palest color, so it definitely got overpowered by some of the stronger hues. I may need to do a little bit more testing with that one. I think the mica powder was probably my most favorite to work with. The color was super vibrant and it played really well with the resin. Plus it's probably your most affordable option to use. I don't know, I could totally be wrong about all this. If you have any resin coloring tips and advice, please share below. I'd love to hear them. Thanks for watching and have a great day.